Hello everyone, good evening. Nkem Ifejika, I work at the BBC as a journalist, as a business journalist, but I do have a bit of history with theatre. As you guys can see in the bio, I did want to be an actor, but I kind of got distracted by journalism. So here I am, many years later. This is Alice Ukoko. Alice, as you can see from her profile, I just learned about 10 minutes ago that she ran for election in Nigeria. Now, only a battle axe can do that, and I can tell already that she's a battle axe. So get yourselves ready. This is the woman who we're celebrating today, partly, Bola Agbaje, who wrote the play. Wonderful play. I don't know if many of you guys here have seen it. Have you guys seen it?
Yeah.
Okay, if you haven't seen it, make sure you see it. This is Solanke. Solanke is also a playwright as well. They share an office. That's Professor Osita Okagbue. They share an office at Goldsmiths. She wrote a play which went out, in May? A few weeks ago, exploring similar themes about identity and sort of being British Nigerian. Professor Osita, MA, BA, PhD, drama, theatre, University of Nigeria at Nsukka, University of Ibadan. Now, these are sort of the Oxfords and the Cambridges, and these are the Harvards and the Yales of Nigeria, so this is a brain box right there when it comes to theatre performance. And Kayode Ogundamisi, I follow him on Twitter. Kayode was a student union leader in Nigeria, University of Jos. Jos is a hotbed of everything, sort of a confluence of where everything, it's a microcosm of Nigeria, lots of different cultures, religions, and he was a student union leader there, aka rabble rouser. You can tell straight away. In terms of, first of all, what prompted you to write the play, Bola?
So I first got commissioned by Theatre for Hodzi, which is a theatre group that does, they do plays about the Black British experience, but the African experience as well. And so they commissioned me to write a play. My sister's husband went back to Nigeria to run in the local elections as well. And my parents are having discussions now about moving back home and retiring back home. And that's kind of what inspired the whole play, the idea of kind of searching for your belonging. Because as much as my parents would like to say that they are Nigerians, they love this country and their kids are here, so their excuses change each year. First it was when me and my older siblings finished school, they were going to go back, we finished. They said when we were going to get married, my sisters got married, had kids. They said when my little sister was going to finish college, she's finished college now. Now it's when she finished university. So their stories keep on changing year on end about whether or not they're going to go back home, because I think they idealise Nigeria, but they're not, here is home for them at the moment. So, yeah. So listening to your accent, this is your neck of the woods. You grew up here in Peckham. Yeah, I grew up in Peckham.
She grew up in Peckham. How do you define yourself? Do you consider yourself Nigerian, British, English, British Nigerian? How do you?
I'd say Nigerian first, and then Londoner, and then I'd say I'm British last. Yeah, that's how.
Now that's really interesting. So, Alice, you're also based here, but you tend to commute between here and Nigeria. In terms of an identity, does there exist a British Nigerian identity? Does it exist?
Well, I think it's either you see yourself as a Nigerian. I do not actually believe that Africans can come here and be British because we're Africans. I think that's, and we're Nigerians. That is the way that it is. Nigerians are Nigerians. You could have children. I tell my children all the time, I go them up here, 5 of them, and I tell them that you are here now because I happen to have been here when you were born. That doesn't mean that you are not a Nigerian.
I think just demonstrably, palpably, we're African. That's no dispute. And then when you travel, as I've done, and lived in different parts of the world, people will respond to you visually, but also to how you are. And when I lived in America, I was a Brit. So I'm a British Nigerian, and I don't see any conflict between those two aspects of my experience. I could no sooner renounce one hand than the other, because it's all part of my experience. I grew up being told, my mum was very much like Auntie Alice, you're African, it doesn't matter. If you were born on the moon, it doesn't make you a Martian. And that's a line I actually quoted my mum in the play.
So the truth is, I'm someone who is not settled. I'm here and I'm there. So and therefore, the only thing that I feel I can do is to put my all into the country that I want to be, or into the continent that I want for my children. Because as you can see, I'm not young anymore. I'm quite old now. And I had
but
my
still a battle
here.
axe, nevertheless.
Well, I don't know, but I see it now as if it is my responsibility to work towards a proper home for my children to return. So when I sleep, because if you look at a lot of Africans here, Africans don't go home and stay there. The Africans will struggle, they will scatter all over the world. They can stay here, they cannot go home. But when they die, they say, take my body home. So I've said to them, I'm sorry. If you want to go home to Nigeria or wherever you want to go, make sure you put it right and it becomes the place you want to be.
Wife and kids shot him and killed him just for being an advisor to the government, very apolitical person. He was actually meant to be the National Labour Congress Secretary General as of today if he had been alive. So it's a dangerous, don't deceive yourself, Nigeria is a dangerous place to go to, but you can still do a lot. From if you feel comfortable in Germany, in Holland, in the diaspora community, don't feel any sense of guilt that you're not doing anything. If you're doing the right thing and you attach Nigeria to your name, you'll be doing a lot for Nigeria. And if you feel comfortable with that, so some of us who live the life of a fatalist and really want to go back home and do something physically, then feel free to go back home. But I don't want us to feel any sense of guilt whatsoever that by living abroad, by being British or by being German or by being Dutch, we are less Nigerian and we're not contributing to Nigeria. And I take your point that I should teach the kids here.
I mean, you've just raised a very important point, which is basically the issue of guilt. And, you know, from a personal perspective, like I keep saying, we have these debates all the time. And something I always sort of ask myself is, do I want to stay here and live a comfortable life in my pokey little flat in New Cross? Have all the amenities, water, there's running water, there's electricity, there's Sky, I can watch AIT and consume as much Nigerian news as I want to, and watch Ben television or whatever. But I always sort of feel as well that, you know, I have to debate, do I sacrifice all that and kind of uproot my family and get myself out of my comfort zone to somewhere where I'm on the ground physically and doing things? Because I take your point that it's great when all these things happen and you have, you know, Nigerians playing football for Britain, for England, or Nigerians running for Great Britain, and Nigerians, you know, doing well all over the world, and the name of Nigeria is being extolled. However, isn't the important thing to, let's say, the children of those people who are doing well and giving the Nigerian name a good name, what if their children wanted to return? What do they go back to if they're not people physically there changing things?
Okay, I'm trying not to say, I'm trying to paint Nigeria in a very good light. So I'm holding myself back. Let me put it this way. There are two sides to Nigeria. There's a very positive side to Nigeria, and that positive side is a lot of us, a lot of you, go to Harvard, go to Oxford, Cambridge, you go back home, like the missionaries, and you go to Abuja, you become specialists and advisors to the Minister of Finance, and yes, you tell IMF that the GDP has risen from this to this, yes, and then that's a success.
Poverty has risen.
And that's a success story. But there's a Nigeria of my mother who is in Ikare. Ikare is some 6 hours with bad roads away from Lagos, who is a farmer, you know. She's a cocoa farmer. And she does not know, she doesn't know about anything government. Government does not exist in her life. And she's just a reflection of many mothers, you know, in Ikare. And Ikare is a city compared to when you go to Kaura Namoda in northern Nigeria, or when you go to even Nkpo, but
that's my hometown.
You know, and there's a 99% Nigeria, right, that are completely detached from government. I will believe you if you leave the comforts of the United Kingdom to go and be a teacher in Ikare, you know, then I know that you're actually up to something good. You know, if you decide...
But isn't there an argument that here, even in England, that there are people here that are so detached from the government and so detached from politics that it's exactly the same
But the thing here, no matter how detached people are here, I can tell you that I cannot point to what Nigeria that enjoys as a welfareist policy of if you don't have a job, you go and seek unemployment benefit. If Nigerians just have, they don't even need unemployment. If that 99% should have electricity 24 hours, yeah, they would not even venture to come to the United Kingdom. So the poverty in the United Kingdom is like upper class in Nigeria. That is how you
go ahead.
Now I think we need to get this right. You know, what material things does not equate to a good life. And there's the perception that is being given that a lot of people in this country who are highly educated Nigerians, you know, are disproportionately emotionally damaged because of the condition that they are in this country. So we need to get that professors like me in Nigeria, my colleagues in Nigeria, live a very comfortable life, better than I do here. They live in better houses, they drive better cars than I do. So we need to get it into that Britain is not better in so many ways than Nigeria. It might have that you have sky. Many people have sky at home. You know, all the things that we think that we have here, they exist in Nigeria. I take your point that there is a very tiny percentage of Nigerians who enjoy all of these things, who are middle class. There is a disproportionate percentage that doesn't have any of those. That's a reality as well. So the whole idea of, if I decide tomorrow to go back to Nigeria, I'll be more respected, you know, as a professor than I am here. You know, and that means a lot.
I agree. Just take it beyond the British and Nigeria comparison. I lived in America for 5 years, in Los Angeles. I lived in Beverly Hills. I lived in Santa Monica. 15 minutes from both of those places, you'll find children who are malnourished. You'll find children who don't have clothing. You'll find children who don't have electricity. It's available, but they don't have access because their parents don't have the resources. They don't have the creature comforts in the middle of the so-called Mecca of the Western world. So it is slightly misleading to paint it as all there, all here rather than none there. And as many of us know, remittances from the UK to Nigeria, massive flow, but we all know people in Nigeria sending money to people here. Yeah. So it's not just the case of the traffic is all from the West to Africa. There are rich people in Africa supporting whole families here. I'm sure you know people yourself. Yeah, so, you know, balance is what we need.
Oh, well, I think, I just feel like, I don't know if you're aware that out of about 150 million people, as recent as last year, we're talking about almost 85 million living below $1 a day. And you want to compare that poverty to the poverty of someone in New Jersey, living, no matter if they're on the street, you know, at least they can stay on the street and they won't be mugged.
What?
It might sound really offensive, but back home, thank God for our social values, our family system. You know, where if you don't have, your uncle is going to give you something to take home. Your mother's, your family members are going to provide for you. The level of poverty that is in Africa, especially Nigeria as it is today, and the Nigeria I'm talking about is not the Nigeria of Lekki or Abuja. I'm talking about the Nigeria of the hinterland. You know, it's shocking. Actually, if the West were to be serious, they shouldn't be putting Gaddafi on trial. They should be putting most of our leaders before the International Criminal Court, yes, for the level of poverty. Yeah. And Professor did mention that yes, if you go back home, if I'm home in Nigeria, if I decide to live in Nigeria now, I will not only be a special advisor to a governor, I might probably be a commissioner in my state of Ondo. I've had several offers to be commissioners, and I'll be living a very comfortable life, rather from my council estate in Woodgreen. But if you're a person of conscience, yeah, there will come a time when the poor people will have nothing to eat but eat the rich person.
When we question giving back, it's all about investment first. And what I find is there's not a lot of investment made in terms of making the children, second generation children or third generation children, knowledgeable about where they come from?
I mean, I only kind of understood my culture, or kind of got myself immersed in my culture when I went to university and met loads and loads of Nigerians that were like myself, that had parents that grew up here, but their parents were from Nigeria. And I thought that I was alone. I thought I was the only one, oddly enough. And then you meet loads of other Nigerians with the same experiences as yourself, and then you go, actually, this is a shared experience. We all kind of have those same familiar kind of, things that we were embarrassed about our parents, we now can laugh at together. And so I think there is a joint community, and there is a lot of third generation, fourth generation young black Britons who are kind of going, okay, actually, we can all group together and we can make a change.